Stephanie here again, and today we're going to treat clear rubs. If you're not familiar with the term, this is what collectors call scratch. They're like slight scratches on the face that happens with just normal play and you know wear and tear, I guess. Over the years, they're more like clear, shiny spots on the faces of the doll, and they don't come off with just cleaning. So you do have to use something abrasive to remove it. And I used to customize Japanese Blythe dolls, and I also make jewelry, silversmithing. So I had these sanding sponges on hand. I'll link to where I purchased them at the bottom because now your area may be different, but I, for the life of me, cannot find these locally. So I have to order them online. And they're just sanding sponges, and I tear off a piece as I need them. And they're very, very, very high grit. So I think the lowest one is a 600 grit sanding sponge, which is significantly higher than anything you'd find at the hardware store. So I have three different grits here, and if you're not familiar with sanding anything, you always work from your lowest grit to your highest. So this is how I treat clear rubs and any other very minor gouges in the face. So I'm gently, very, very gently just going over those spots in a circular motion with the lowest grit. I believe this is a 600 grit sanding sponge, but I'll definitely link to the store where I purchased these from, and give the details of the grits, the various grits that I'm using in the video. So there's a few things that I want to mention that you can use these at your own risk, because if you have any imperfections in the cheek area, it will remove your blush. So I tend to stay away from the cheeks if I can, and just treat clear rubs that are in spots where there is no face paint, there's no eyes or freckles. The one great thing about these sponges, and you can see here, you can really get into some tight areas and avoid the face paint, so you don't wreck anything. Because one of the first lessons learned when I started using this was a Jesmer girl that I had, and I treated all of her clear rubs, and one of them was on her cheek, and I tried to reblush her after. And when you use these sanding sponges, it changes a bit of the texture, because you are sanding the faces down essentially a little. It's very minor, but you're changing the texture of the face and you're roughing it up. And so reblushing her with the oil pastels that everybody recommends, it didn't work very well. I found it to be very rough and difficult to spread over the cheeks. So if you do use these sponges, use them very gently around all of that face paint. Now, I know on the Open Cabbage Forum, there are some folks that recommend using, I think it's water and baking soda. I tried that, and it didn't give me the results that I was looking for. I found these to be a lot more efficient. But again, there's some risks and a downside to using them, like I mentioned. So, but for any of those surrounding areas, they work brilliantly. I love them. And with the Blythe doll restoration that I use, we use these sanding sponges to actually recarve those Blythe doll faces. So they were changing actual features and carving them out. And then we use these sanding sponges to smooth that surface and matte the face. Blythe doll collecting is very different than Cabbage Patch Kid doll collecting. It's the customization aspect of Blythe dolls is huge, and most people tend to change the dolls. That's the in thing with that hobby. Whereas in the Cabbage Patch Kid world, I find that most people want things as true to how they were over 30 years ago as possible, and that's where I am with my collecting. So I don't want to change a whole lot on these dolls. I just want to get them as minty as I can. So that's why I do this. So the sanding sponges, you can see the different color codes on those sanding sponges, and I just go from the lower number, grit number, to the highest, and just like anything else. And very, very, very light circular motion, and I use the corners to get into the tight areas that I need, and I'm gently, gently going over things. It may look like I'm pressing hard here. I'm really not. It's so light. I'm barely touching that face, but it does get rid of things. I wish that my camera could really pick up the difference. I think you can kind of see, I can on my monitor kind of see a difference where I don't see those light shiny spots. I hope it shows up after I upload it to YouTube, but I hope this helps. This is my way. I'm not a professional. This is very new to me, but I wanted to share how I treat clear rubs. So if it helps any of you, that would make me happy. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and until next time.